So
I did think for a minute, she's has some kind of like force powers. She can phase through walls or go invisible or something.
They had stronger scenes. Yeah, they had stronger scenes. So that one time when he looks up and he sees her up there, then he looks over and she's at the door. They shot that scene. And then they ended up cutting it. And then they had a couple more where she just popped up everywhere like she was a jumper. Would that have made the movie more interesting? Like, this woman's a jumper.
It'd be a very different film.
A seducing jumper.
I think I'd rather see a film with her than Hayden Christensen.
I love Jumper.
I saw Jumper. That would be a very, I mean, at the moment, it's a very kind of grounded, like, drama thriller. If you had sci-fi fantasy elements to it, this could be a franchise at this point. This could be like the new Species or something.
She just jumps to different schools and messes with swimmers?
Yeah, why not?
Now, Ben's a terrible swimming coach because she's like, I can't swim. And I thought that was a ploy.
Yeah,
right?
Me too. Yeah.
And at the end, she literally can't swim.
Well, she only had a very short lesson that ended with far more sex than is normally present in a swimming lesson. As I understand it. I've not had swimming lessons since I was a child. And that would have been a very wrong direction for that to have gone in. But Mark, I did some research for this podcast.
Oh, let's hear it.
I went swimming.
Oh, wow.
Which is, I know, you're impressed. This is something I haven't done for well over a decade. But I thought I'm going to be on. This is entirely true. I'm going to be on the Swimfan podcast. I think I should probably have some more recent experience with the environment this is set in. So I went to a swimming pool, middle of the day, deserted, just me and my wife, and it was pretty boring. Like, actually swimming up and down is a pretty dull thing to do. When you're not swimming and you're just kind of larking about, having fun, having a chat, great. But the actual swimming up and down, oh god, it's tedious.
Yeah, it bored you?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be the most boring sport to ever do. Well, I like, you know me, I like to run. You can stick your headphones in and listen to the Movies, Films and Flicks podcast while you go for a run. Can't really do that with swimming unless you pay for some very expensive waterproof headphones. I don't understand how people can quite happily get into a pool and just go back and forth for hours on end.
You know where you messed up?
Where did I mess up?
You weren't playing rock music during it.
I wasn't, that's true.
During this movie, they go for the rock music.
They do. It's very 2002.
But I love it though, because it's like, how do you make swimming like when you're not being chased by a shark or an alligator or an anaconda or a piranha? How do you make swimming interesting? Just blare up the metal.
Yeah, well, you swim into your dead classmate bleeding from the head.
Jeez Louise, with the baseball bat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Yeah. So, how many laps did you swim? Were you good?
We were there for about 45 minutes, so we didn't really count.
Got it.
We had a little race at one point, which, I won, but she got bored halfway through, so it's still a win. It still counts.
Megan would wipe the floor. She was a swimmer, so she'd wipe the floor with me if we tried.
I'm sure she could beat me too.
When I swim, it's not like, there's no fans of my swimming. It's just slapping the water aggressively.
You have quite a wide splash zone.
If I was trying to swim quietly, I couldn't do it, just slapping the water.
There's more water out of the pool than in by the time you're done.
So, all right, when this movie ended, how were you feeling? What were your thoughts?
I was kind of surprised that it ended so soon. The version I watched ends at 78 minutes was when the credits start.
Yep.
It's a very short film.
Hey, you're welcome.
I wasn't disappointed that much. I was kind of annoyed that, he wasn't on the swimming team. He'd been cut for being caught taking steroids. But then they kind of proved that Madison was behind a lot of things and crazy, and she probably did this. But he still wasn't swimming. He's back with Amy. I don't know whether he should be or not, because this guy did cheat on her.
She's too good for him, man. She's way too good for him. She is too good.
Yeah. She needs to move on and find someone better.
Yeah.
Jason Ritter seemed like a nice guy.
Oh, yeah. They should have had that at the end, where he's by himself, has a beard, and then she's with him, like Jason Ritter wins states.
He's really let himself go.
Yeah, and then he's going to go to Rhode Island to be with her because he respects her. He's not expecting her to follow him.
You know what they have at Rhode Island? Swimming pools.
Exactly.
Also, probably the ocean. It's an island.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He realizes how great she is. He's not going to make her chase him. So he's going to go hang out with Amy.
That's Swimfan 2.
Randy's revenge.
It's not revenge. If anything, it'd be Ben's revenge on Randy for, in his mind, stealing his girl.
Is that the sequel name? Swimfan 2? Ben's revenge on Randy for, in his mind, stealing his girl?
It's a little long. We can probably get an acronym or something.
I love that. Acronym.
Ben's revenge on Randy. So that's Brawl for in his mind. Brawl Fim or in his mind. Allegedly stinny. Brofim's Agug. There you go. Swimfan 2, Brofim Gags. Whatever.
Oh, yes. Poor Randy.
Yeah, he gets not a lot to do other than he loses his asshole friend.
Yeah,
Maybe
both of them.
Well, he doesn't. Not everyone has to hook up for a film to end. It's not what it's all about. But I like to think that he and Josh's ex-girlfriend, who I don't know if she had a name, Renee. There we go. Josh's ex-girlfriend Renee. Maybe Randy and Renee hook up because actually Randy wasn't even involved in the ploy at the end to entrap Madison.
Nope.
Renee's filming it. Christopher's the decoy. Ben attacks her from the side, but Randy nowhere to be seen.
That scene, it took me about 3 times to realize what was going on in that scene. Because it's Jake. All right, so she apparently Jake Donnelly, a shortstop, annoyed her. So she unbuckled a seatbelt and they crashed a car, correct?
Yeah.
And she keeps waiting for him to wake up. So one day, Ben, steals his clothes. And then he puts the clothes on Christopher. And in the hospital, when she is there to kill Amy, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right. They say, Jake Donnelly, come to registration. She's like, wait, that's my ex-ex. So
I didn't know if she was imagining that.
Yeah, she saw his face. Remember that?
Well, she saw I didn't know if she was imagining hearing the Tannoy saying that because she's a crazy person. And she was about to go and kill somebody else. Maybe she's having flashbacks to the last person that she killed, or presumably the last person she killed. Who knows what kind of a spree she's been on. So yeah, I was, when I kind of saw the guy, and I thought she might be seeing a vision of Jake Donnelly. Maybe that's not really him. Maybe it's all in her mind. But then when it turned around, it was Christopher. I didn't know who it was going to be. I thought it might have been Ben.
I love Christopher in this movie. And so, yeah. James DeBello, have you seen him in other movies?
I'm not familiar with him. I meant to look him up. He looked a bit like Brendan Fraser.
Oh, I'm a big fan of his. He was in some movies in the 90s, early 2000s that I love. So he was in Cabin Fever, the original one. He's also in Detroit Rock City. I don't know if you've ever watched Detroit Rock City, but
I have not.
Oh man, I look it up at least because that's a movie. Edward Furlong. They're going to see a Kiss concert, and I haven't watched it since it came out, but I remember loving that movie. And he's also in Scary Movie 2. And then
you lost me at Edward Furlong, but you brought me back in at Melanie Lynskey and Natasha Lyonne.
Yeah, and then nice, yeah, it's fun. And then he's in a Dorm Days movie, like Dorm Days 2. So he actually works a lot. But I liked him in this movie. He the guy. I'm used to him being this loud, braggart, kind of an idiot. So it's weird seeing him. It was basically countercasting, seeing James DeBello in this role because he had the big glasses. But I liked him. And then that scene where he's helping out, when he's helping out Ben, and she's like, "Oh, do you have a friend in here?" She's like, "Actually, you'd have to have friends to have them in." I'm like, "Whoa!"
I felt so sorry for him. And when Ben goes around to drop off Madison's music book, he says, "You don't have to be nice to me." Yep. How sad is this guy's life that he's just saying, I know you probably think you should just be kind, but don't worry. Don't worry about being kind to me. I'm not worth being kind to.
And I love when he gets treated terribly too. When he gets yelled at by Dante, when he gets yelled at by Josh.
Josh, yeah.
I love that no one does anything.
Yeah, well, because I think he's just got to be known as the school weirdo.
But he's a nice guy. There's nothing wrong with him.
He's just quiet, and he's got the glasses, got the hearing aid, so he's unfortunately he looks a bit different. So unfortunately, he gets picked on.
I am so happy though that he wasn't killed, and I'm also happy that I thought maybe he'd get it, like he'd pop up somewhere for helping.
Well, we only lose the bad people. We lose Josh and we lose Madison. Everyone else survives. So
how awesome would that be? The end of this movie, it's just Ben staring through a window, watching Randy, Amy, and Christopher just hanging out, having a laugh.
Well, Christopher and Renee now know each other, so let's check Renee in there as well. She's
Renee.
Female characters.
Yeah, Renee. She got a couple lines in, but then so Renee risked her life to help.
Yeah.
So the four of them just hanging out playing D&D or something, or at the restaurant eating lobster.
But what's Ben doing? If he's stuck inside watching them, but what's he doing? No,
he's outside in his truck, just staring at them. Realizing everything he's lost.
He turns the truck on and plows through them all.
Oh, goodness. Ben's revenge. I'm telling you, man, because like just watch the trailer for Detroit Rock City, and you'll see Christopher Dante, or I'm sorry, James DeBello, and then you watch this, and it's just in the commentary they were laughing so hard because they're so used to him being something else, and they sort of loved him. But what I didn't realize is that, well, no, I guess I realized that, but by the time they made this, Jesse Bradford and Erika Christensen were kind of really experienced in the industry. Jesse Bradford had done Bring It On, which he was big for. He had done Romeo and Juliet. He was in Hackers. And then Erika Christensen was in Traffic. She was in a bunch of other movies when she was a kid. So they were names when this came out in 2002 that had some momentum.
I only know him from West Wing, which he did after this. Which, he's Ryan Pierce in West Wing, who's just a little squirmy worm of a character.
Oh, really?
He's a really annoying, really like cocky, just gets in everyone's way kind of guy. But he does it very well. So that may have been one of the reasons why I immediately didn't like him, just because I'm coming into this thing. Oh, it's Ryan Pierce from West Wing. I hate this guy.
So I looked at everything that these people did after this. The director John Polson. He went on to do tons of TV, Elementary, Without a Trace, Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, Blue Bloods, Mentalist, Fringe, and then he did that De Niro picture, Hide and Seek.
But his greatest credit was before Swimfan. It's Mission Impossible 2 as Billy. Yep. He's the helicopter pilot in Mission Impossible 2.
Major role, too.
Major role. He's like fourth or fifth build, maybe.
Yeah.
and never returned for another film, because everyone hates Billy.
That's kind of a bummer. And I'm also bummed that Maggie Q and Jonathan Rhys-Meyers never returned.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of became a staple of the films, that if you're part of the team and you're not Ving Rhames and you don't get to come back. But then they got Simon Pegg. Jeremy Renner's now fallen into that category. He got one extra film and then gone.
I was watching this, and I looked at the producers. There's Joe Caracciolo, I guess, but he did Dune, the upcoming Dune, produced it. Logan, Dracula Untold, and then another guy went on to do Crazy Rich Asians, Hell or High Water, Book of Henry, which is terrible.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them were associated with Movie 43, that terrible movie that came out.
Yeah, have you seen that?
Oh, I couldn't do it.
I have. It's sat through it.
It's bad. I background watched it because that's what I had to do to survive. But then
I reviewed that thing, so I took notes because I had a little project on my site to review every Kate Winslet film. I made that pledge before she signed up to be in Movie 43. And she's in the first segment, and I still had to sit through the rest of it. I had to sit through Stephen Merchant getting plastic surgery to look Asian.
And doesn't someone have doesn't Hugh Jackman have a
testicles on his chin? Yeah, that's the Kate Winslet segment. She goes on a blind date with him, and he has testicles on his chin. There is one decent segment in it, which is
Johnny Knoxville.
No, I wasn't even a fan. That's okay, but the joke is just, Gerard Butler's voicing a foul-mouthed leprechaun. Isn't that funny?
That's kind of that's not funny, but the idea. You just said it and it made me laugh.
There's a segment with Terrence Howard as a basketball coach of a team that's entirely African American, and they're playing a team of white kids, and he's giving the motivational speech, and it's just, you're gonna win because you're black and they're white.
Yeah, you're gonna crush them.
You're gonna destroy. This is what's gonna happen. And the players are all kind of like, but coach, what if they're better than us? Like, but you're black and they're what? It's just they hammer it into the ground over and over again, and it's his like straight face delivery and the kids. That's the one decent scene of this whole terrible film that I don't know why I bring it up so often.
What about the Lee Schreiber Naomi Watts bit?
That's an odd one. Yeah, the homeschooling. This film is burned into my brain. I haven't seen it for maybe 6 years. It's in there.
The Chloe Grace Moritz one?
Oh, yeah, that's when she has her period. Her first period. And she's
how? Right? This movie, wow.
And there's the Anna Faris one where she just wants Chris Pratt, I think, to take a dump on her. Is it Chris Pratt?
They had some trust in these producers to do this thing.
Yeah.
You know the cinematographer also shot Battlefield Earth of this movie?
That I haven't seen.
And he did Hell or High Water, the Oscar-nominated film.
That I have seen. That's very good.
Did you notice
very well shot film?
The blue tint that happened?